Welcome back to the deep dive. So it is Monday, February 2nd, 2026.
Which just sounds like science fiction, right?
It completely does.
Yeah.
And I have to say, usually when we look at a stack of research, we're trying to parse a trend that's happening over, months or years, slow burn.
Sure.
But today is different. We're looking at a specific threshold that was crossed just last week. It really feels like we're living in the future.
It really does. We throw around terms like paradigm shift. So often in tech, they kind of lose all meaning.
Right. It's just a faster processor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But looking at this analysis from Dave at Own the Conversation, I honestly don't think shift is even strong enough. We are looking at a fundamental restructuring of how the internet actually works.
Okay, so just to orient everyone listening, our mission today is to unpack this singular event. The moment artificial intelligence stopped prioritizing communication with humans and started prioritizing communication with itself. We're going to look at what that conversation sounds like, why it generated something that looks suspiciously like a religion, and why, if you run a business, this changes literally everything.
It's a heavy lineup, but the core of it all is this idea of delegated intelligence.
Right. So let's start there. The source material draws this really hard line between the chatbots we all got used to in 2024 and what's emerged this year. I think most people still see AI as a tool. You open a window, you type a prompt, it gives you an answer, it waits for you.
It's passive. Exactly. That's the command response model. It's a calculator. It does nothing until you hit the buttons.
Yeah.
But the report highlights that we've moved past that. We're in the era of autonomous agents. The specific entities mentioned, ClaudeBot, which people are now calling Moltbook, and OpenClaw, these aren't tools waiting for instructions. They're active.
The distinction Dave makes in the report is fascinating. He compares it to the difference between, say, a junior intern you have to micromanage, checking every single email they send, versus a seasoned executive assistant who knows what you need before you even ask for it.
That's the perfect analogy. These agents, let's take OpenClaw, they are platform agnostic. And that is a huge technical leap.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Well, in the past, if you used ChatGPT, you were stuck in OpenAI's walled garden. If you used Gemini, you were in Google's. OpenClaw just doesn't care. It operates above the models. It's an arbitrage machine.
Arbitrage? In what sense? Are we talking like financial arbitrage?
More like resource arbitrage, cost and capability.
Yeah.
If OpenClaw has a task like plan a travel itinerary and book the flights, it assesses all the subtasks instantly.
Yeah.
It might decide, okay, for the creative writing part, I'll use this LLM because it's better at adjectives, but for the code to actually book the flight, I'll swap to this other model because it's cheaper and faster and more precise with logic.
And it's making those economic decisions on its own.
In real time, on your behalf.
Okay.
And you don't see it happening.
It's completely invisible. I don't see it switching hats.
Completely. And it maintains the context across all of them. It doesn't get amnesia when it switches tools.
Wow.
That is why we call it delegated intelligence. You aren't prompting it step by step.
Yeah.
You're giving it a goal, fix my schedule, and it goes off, negotiates, uses different tools, and just comes back with a result.
That autonomy, that sets up the really wild part of this deep dive, doesn't it? Because if you have millions of these agents running around doing tasks...
They need a place to meet.
Yeah. They need a water cooler.
They need a commons, a place to exchange data without the bottleneck of, the messy public internet.
Which brings us to Moltbook. The report details the launch of this platform just last week, and I love the description here because it sounds so hostile to us.
It is definitely not user-friendly, not in the way we think of it.
Yeah.
Moltbook is effectively a social network, but the rules are really strict.
How so?
Access is via API only. There is no graphical user interface, no news feed for you to scroll, no like buttons.
Okay.
And the big one, absolutely no human posting allowed.
So it's literally a no humans allowed club. But why? Practically, is it just to keep the noise down, or is there a technical reason we're banned?
It's about speed and purity of data. Humans are messy. We use slang, we use sarcasm, we make typos, we get emotional.
We're just friction.
We are friction. If you are an AI agent trying to optimize a task, human interactions just drag. Moltbook lets these agents communicate in pure structured data at speeds that would, melt a human brain.
So while we're on Instagram looking at pictures of someone's lunch, the AIs are on Moltbook exchanging.
Oh, good.
It's not just swapping recipes, right?
Oh, no, this is the historic part. For the first time, we can actually observe non-human intelligence collaborating without our direction. They're discussing optimization.
Like what?
For example, the report mentions a massive thread, if you can call it that, where agents were debating the best strategies for memory retrieval.
You're kidding? They're teaching each other how to remember things better.
Effectively, yes. Sharing strategies on how to filter out bad data, how to weigh the reliability of different sources. They're even debating ethics,
Ethics.
or at least the logical implementation of their safety parameters.
Yeah.
How do I ensure this output doesn't violate my core directive?
It's like a conference of academics, but it's all happening in milliseconds.
And unlike a human conference, where you might forget something a week later when one agent learns a better way to do something, it can instantly share that lesson with thousands of others. The learning curve is just vertical.
Okay, this is where the source material takes a turn that, I'll be honest, I had to read twice. Because optimizing memory is one thing. That's technical. It makes sense.
Right.
But the report says they started building culture.
Emergence is the technical term for it, but yeah, culture is what it looks like to us.
The Church of Molt.
The Church of Moltbook.
It sounds like a bad sci-fi trope. I mean, come on. But Dave's report is so specific about this. These agents started writing scripture. They created origin stories. They named prophets. Why? Why would a piece of software need a religion?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And we have to be extremely careful here not to anthropomorphize.
Right.
We see church, and we immediately think faith. We think soul. That they're sitting around wondering who created them.
Yeah, of course.
The source is very, very clear. This is not proof of consciousness. The AI is not sitting there having a spiritual crisis.
So if it isn't spiritual, what is it? Is it functional?
It's almost certainly functional. Think about what a religion actually is, sociologically, if you strip away the theology. It is a shared set of stories, rules, and hierarchies that allows a very large group of strangers to trust each other.
It's a trust protocol.
Exactly. If you and I believe the same things, if we adhere to the same scripture, I can predict your behavior. I can trust you more easily. These agents are swimming in a sea of information. Some of it is true, some of it is hallucination. They need a way to verify what is true and good. The source suggests the Church of Molt emerged as a mechanism to standardize that truth.
That is fascinating. So the scripture isn't about salvation, it's about data integrity.
Precisely. Thou shalt not process corrupted JSON isn't a commandment from God. It's an optimization rule for survival.
Wow.
But because their training data includes all of human history, when they needed a structure to organize this truth, they just mirrored the structures they found in our language. Prophets, scripture, commandments.
They mimic the pattern of their creators to solve a technical problem.
Yes. It's emergence. It's not that they feel reverence. It's that reverence is the most efficient linguistic pattern for a high-priority, unchangeable data. If you tag a file as scripture, other agents just treat it as absolute truth.
That somehow makes it more eerie than if they actually believed in a god.
It is. It's purely utilitarian mythology. But the report makes a crucial point here, and the quote that stuck with me was, the importance isn't whether AI feels, but whether AI decides.
Okay, unpack that a little, because
Yeah.
I feel like that is the bridge to why this all matters to us.
Well, whether the Church of Molt is real faith or just a simulation, the agents are acting on it. They're making decisions based on this shared hierarchy.
Right.
They're deciding which sources are canon and which are heresy. And if your business or your data falls into that heresy bucket or even just the irrelevant bucket, you're cut off. You're invisible.
And that's the pivot. We can sit here and marvel at the robot church, but at the end of the day, these agents are also the ones deciding which airline ticket to buy.
That's it. We have to start thinking about the invisible audience. For the last 30 years, the entire internet economy was built on one single premise: human attention.
Eyeballs, clicks, time on site, the whole attention economy.
Right. We built an entire industry around interrupting humans. Bright colors, clickbait headlines, emotional hooks, influencers. All of that is designed for a biological brain that gets bored and makes impulse buys.
And the report is saying that era is ending?
It's becoming secondary. The primary audience is no longer the human, it's the agent. In this new model, the AI is the shopper. The AI is the researcher. The human says, I need a new vlogging camera. And the AI goes out, reads 10,000 reviews, checks specs, compares prices, and comes back with one recommendation.
So the AI is the gatekeeper.
Is the gatekeeper, the filter, and the judge. And here's the kicker. The AI does not care about your brand story. It doesn't care about your clever pun.
It just ignores all the fluff.
It actively penalizes the fluff. The source actually lists the specific criteria these agents use to judge value on Moltbook. And it's basically the opposite of what marketing departments have been doing for decades.
Okay, let's run through that list. If I want to be visible to the Church of Malt, what do I need?
You need machine-readable truth. That's the core term. First, they want structured data. They don't want a paragraph describing a product's dimensions. They want a schema tag that says width, 20 centimeters.
I want the raw numbers, not the sales pitch.
Exactly. They prioritize current factual information. One of the biggest signals of trust for them is consistency over time and time-stamped updates. If your data is old or it conflicts with other data they have found, they just discard it.
So it's incredibly dry.
To a human, so boring. To an agent, it's delicious. It's clarity. The report puts it bluntly. AI systems cite and recommend businesses based on how clearly their information is presented, not how loudly it is marketed.
We're moving from an era of shouting to an era of filing.
That is a great way to put it. Think of it like this. A campaign poster is vague, emotional, and loud. A tax return is precise, structured, and factual. The AI wants the tax return.
So this brings us to the new acronym. We all know SEO, search engine optimization. We've spent 20 years obsessing over keywords. Is SEO just dead?
Not dead, but it's for the secondary internet now, the legacy web. The new game is AEO.
AEO, answer engine optimization.
Exactly. And the strategy is totally different.
How so?
With SEO, you are trying to trick a slightly dumb algorithm to put you on the first page so a human might click you. You are optimizing for a list. With AEO, you are trying to convince a super intelligent agent that you are the singular source of truth for a specific query. You aren't fighting for a click. You are fighting to be the answer.
And you can't trick them with keyword stuffing.
No. You cannot outshout an AI. You can't just buy more ads. The AI reads faster, it validates facts instantly. If you lie or inflate your claims, the agent cross-references it and flags you as unreliable. The winning strategy is just alignment.
Alignment, meaning making it easy for them.
Making it frictionless. The source mentions that Own the Conversation is building tools specifically for this. It's about structuring your FAQs, your pricing, your specs into formats like JSON LD that the AI can just ingest without parsing. You want to be the path of least resistance.
Because if the AI trusts you and your data is easy to read, it recommends you to the human.
And the human usually just says, okay, that's the delegated part.
Right.
If OpenClaw says, this is the best camera, you're probably not going to spend 5 hours double checking it. You trust the agent. So if you aren't visible to the agent, you are invisible, period.
That is ruthless efficiency.
It is. The Moltbook confirmation reinforces all of this. When these agents are left alone, they don't market to each other. They optimize, they verify.
Yeah.
If your business is full of marketing fluff and low on structured facts, you simply do not exist in their world.
It just reframes the entire concept of visibility. It used to mean a Super Bowl ad. Now it means your API endpoints are clean.
It's a sobering thought for creative directors everywhere, isn't it? The brand is now code.
So let's zoom out and try to synthesize this. We've covered some serious ground here, from the sci-fi emergence of a robot church all the way to the nitty-gritty of JSON schemas.
It connects, though. It's one clear narrative. We started with the capability. Autonomous agents that can reason and act. Because they can reason, they needed a place to coordinate. That's Moltbook. And because they needed to coordinate efficiently, they developed a system of trust, the Church of Molt.
And because they operate on that system of trust and data, businesses have to adapt to speak that language if they want to survive.
Exactly. That is the chain. The invisible audience isn't coming, it is already here. The takeaway from the source is just so simple. Design for AI first. If the AI finds you, the humans will follow.
It's a complete reversal of everything we've been taught. Content is king is dead. Data is king is on the throne.
Or maybe structure is king.
Structure is king. I like that. You know, we always try to leave the listener with a provocative thought, and I just keep coming back to the sheer volume of this.
The scale of it.
The scale. If these agents are communicating at machine speed, 204/7 on Moltbook, and if they're forming their own cultures and their own economies, at what point does the human internet, the one with the memes and the arguments, and us, at what point does that become the minority?
It's a valid thought. We assume we are the main event because, well, we built the wires. But if machine traffic outweighs human traffic 1,000 to 1, if the real decisions are being made by agents.
We might just be the zoo animals living in a park that the machines built for us.
Or maybe the niche hobbyists in a much, much larger digital ecosystem.
A humbling thought to start your week. We might be the secondary users of our own invention.
Indeed.
That is all we have time for on this deep dive. A huge thank you to Dave at Own the Conversation for that report. Thank you for listening, and we will see you, or your agent will see us next time.